She glances at you before she even knows why. It isn't the way you dress, the words you chose, or the effort you put into being noticed. You said nothing. You did nothing to draw her attention. And yet, something in the room shifted the moment you walked in. Something she can't name. Something that arrived before you did. It doesn't ask to be seen. It doesn't beg to be heard. It simply exists, quiet and unshakable. And somehow that quiet becomes the loudest thing in the room.
Most people spend their days leaking themselves away without noticing. A thought here, a distraction there, an impulse chased for a few seconds of relief. None of it feels dangerous in the moment, but over months and years, it adds up to something heavier. A version of you that reacts instead of chooses, that scrolls instead of builds, that gives its attention to anything that asks for it. Little by little, the scattering becomes a habit. And a scattered person, no matter how talented, rarely feels like a force to be reckoned with. Then there is the other path, the one almost nobody takes because it asks for something uncomfortable, restraint. Not suppression, not denial for its own sake, but a deliberate choice to stop bleeding energy into things that don't matter. The person who chooses this doesn't announce it. They don't post about it.
They simply stop feeding every urge the moment it appears, and in that stillness, something begins to accumulate. Call it focus, call it will. Whatever the name, it starts to change the shape of a person from the inside out. The first days are the hardest, because nothing visible happens yet. The mind fights back, testing old patterns, whispering that nothing has really changed. This is the part almost everyone quits at, the invisible stretch where effort outpaces evidence. But for the ones who keep going, something subtle starts to shift beneath the surface. Sleep feels different. Thoughts feel less crowded. A strange kind of clarity begins to settle in, the kind that doesn't announce itself loudly, but simply refuses to leave once it arrives. Around the edges of ordinary life, people start to notice something they can't quite explain. A friend says you seem different, though they can't say how. A stranger holds eye contact a second longer than expected. Conversations that used to feel like effort now feel almost effortless, because you're no longer performing, you're simply present. That presence is rare enough that it draws attention on its own, without a single word spent trying to earn it. There's a reason people are drawn to stillness they can't explain. Human beings are wired to sense energy long before they can articulate it. The tension in a room, the calm in someone's shoulders, the difference between a person trying too hard and a person who doesn't need to try at all. Nobody can point to the exact signal, but everybody responds to it. And the less a person chases that response, the stronger the pull toward them seems to become. Nothing about this transformation is loud. There's no grand announcement, no dramatic before and after. It happens in the small refusals. The moment you close the tab instead of opening it. The moment you choose sleep over distraction. The moment you hold a boundary nobody would have noticed if you broke it. Each refusal is invisible on its own, but stacked together, day after day, they start to form something solid, a kind of internal architecture that other people can sense even if they can't see the blueprints. What makes this so unsettling to witness is how little it needs from the outside world. Most people are constantly asking, whether they realize it or not, for approval, for attention, for reassurance that they matter. The person who has built this quiet discipline stops asking. They stop needing the room to confirm their worth. And paradoxically, that absence of need becomes the very thing that makes a room lean in closer, trying to understand someone who doesn't seem to want anything from them. Time does something strange to this kind of person. Where others burn out chasing shortcuts, they keep moving at a steady, almost eerie pace, not rushing, not straining, just accumulating. Weeks pass, then months, and the gap between them and everyone still stuck in old patterns keeps widening. Not because they worked harder in any single moment, but because they never stopped choosing the harder, quieter option when it counted. That compounding is invisible until suddenly it isn't. People will start asking what changed, and and there won't be a clean answer to give them. It wasn't one decision. It wasn't a single dramatic turning point. It was hundreds of small, unremarkable choices made in private, with no audience and no applause. Nobody claps for the moment you didn't check your phone at 2 a.m. Nobody notices the version of you that stayed quiet instead of reacting. But those unwitnessed moments are exactly what built the presence everyone else is now reacting to. There's a particular kind of tension that surrounds someone who has stopped chasing. It isn't cold, and it isn't arrogant. It's simply unavailable in a way most people aren't used to. Unavailable to manipulation, unavailable to flattery, unavailable to the easy hooks that used to work on them. That unavailability creates a strange kind of gravity because people are far more curious about what they can't easily have than about what's offered to them freely. It would be easy to mistake this for coldness, but it isn't. Underneath the stillness is often more warmth than before, not less, because the energy that used to scatter in a dozen directions now has somewhere to land, the same way. Some are pulled toward it instinctively, drawn to a steadiness they didn't know they were missing. Others feel unsettled by it, almost defensive, as if the calm exposes something restless in themselves they'd rather not look at directly. Both reactions say more about the observer than the person being observed, because stillness has a way of holding up a mirror, whether or not anyone asked for one. What's easy to miss is that none of this was ever really about anyone else. The discipline wasn't built to be noticed. The restraint wasn't practiced for an audience. It started as a private decision to stop losing pieces of yourself to things that offered nothing lasting in return. Everything else, the way people react, the way rooms feel different, the way attention seems to arrive uninvited, is simply the byproduct of a person who finally stopped negotiating with their own worst impulses. There's a particular kind of confidence that can't be faked, because it isn't built on performance, it's built on evidence. Evidence that you can sit with discomfort without collapsing into it. Evidence that you can want something and not immediately act on it. Evidence gathered privately over weeks and months that you are someone who keeps quiet promises to yourself, even when no one is watching to hold you accountable. That kind of evidence is what other performances are trying and failing to imitate. Somewhere along the way, the goal itself starts to change. It stops being about how others perceive you and starts becoming about how honest you can be with yourself in the moments nobody will ever see. The urge to impress fades, replaced by something steadier, a quiet insistence on becoming the kind of person your future self would actually respect. That shift, more than anything external, is what separates a temporary phase of self-control from a permanent change in character. None of this requires explanation, and that might be the strangest part of all. You don't have to tell anyone what you've been practicing. You don't have to justify the boundaries you've set or the habits you've broken. The proof isn't in what you say, it's in how you carry yourself when you think no one is paying attention. Over time, that quiet consistency becomes its own kind of language, one that people around you start to read without ever being taught the words. In the end, what remains isn't loud, and it was never meant to be. It's the steadiness of someone who chose the harder, quieter path and kept choosing it long after the novelty wore off. It's the calm of someone who no longer needs to prove anything because the proof already happened, privately, one unremarkable decision at a time. That's the real transformation, not a performance for others to witness, but a private discipline that quietly became impossible to ignore.